I think the main issue is people just don't understand that the tangibles are what attracts you to a person, but it's the intangibles that are going to keep you with a person, right? So we love these physical attributes. We love this person having this type of money, and we're told that's what's going to make us happy, right? Because these are the metrics that men and women usually describe all the time. This is what they tell you, just like Marcus was saying, right? So, but if we understand what's going to keep us there, what's going to keep us sound, what's going to keep us grounded, what's going to be someone who's going to pour into us, it's always the intangibles, right? Is do our personalities mesh? Do we have like values? Are we of the same faith? Right? Can I be around this person for the rest of my life? Can I stand them? Right? I'm going to be sleeping in the same bed for this person forever, and they won't go away. Does that make sense to you? Right? Those are realities that we have to think of. Do I enjoy just being around this person? Do I like to sit down and watch a movie with this person? Do we have common interest? These are the things that are going to keep you with the person. Now, it's understandable that you should make sure that you are with the person who's established because, in my personal opinion, a man should take care of the home and the finances, at least be mostly responsible for. So that's a given. So you need to make sure that you have a man who's going to be together along with what you have, that'll be able to provide the lifestyle that you want, right? And that's cool because it's supposed to be a balance. And once you have a balance in a relationship, that's what's going to work. You got to be the yin and the yang, period. So we do understand that a lot of times women make poor choices with this, and it's very easy for you to be confused. That's the word of the day, confusion, because you're told these things that you're supposed to want and you're supposed to be attracted to. And a lot of times that's never what's going to make you happy in the long term. And that's the main thing we need to look at. I'll leave it there for now.
Well, sweetie, that's your answer. You asked, well, why is it so hard to find? Trev just answered.
Because y'all make irrational decisions. Got it.
Yep.
What about the lying though? Because that's when we get past the physical and stuff like that, like the lying. You have to, like she said, you have to look at this the spiritual and the connection and all that, because when people can easily lie about their monetary and anything else outside of that. So
Well, I would say to answer to that is you got to have requirements and standards up front. So a man won't feel, because a lot of times if a man is like a liar, he don't want to go through a whole bunch of stuff. So if you turn around and say, hey, this is what I require at some point, and I'm not saying money, I mean like commitment, like as an example, as a woman, if you turn around and say, hey, I just want you to know I don't have casual sex. The only time I have sex is when I'm actually in a committed relationship. He gonna go on about his business, but he may lie and say, well, I want to be with you, but at that point, the lie is so early where he's going to get tired of lying super early because he started lying so early. You know what I mean? But the more requirements like that and standards you put up front, and you can have your requirements and standards, as long as you ain't all crazy with it. Most likely the liars want easy prey. So a liar is going to be like, I ain't got time for that shit. She got too many obstacles. It's like when I was younger, dating a girl with a dad, it was like hell no, because back in the day you got to call the girl phone and the dude, hello, who is it? Man, I ain't got time for all that shit. Yeah. So back when I was young, the last thing I wanted was a girl with a whole bunch of obstacles like a dad in the damn home, because he gonna answer the goddamn phone. I ain't got time for all this shit.
It's really hard for men to understand the intangibles that women be speaking about when they talk about their preferences, because you might not fit the looks requirement, you might not even fit the income requirement, but the way you approach her and treat her from the stance of truthfulness, or the way you carry yourself and your humor, may take you over the threshold of all the things that you fail to provide that she would outwardly say, and she could still be in love with you based off of that. But men a lot of times want to cut and dry. You do A, you get B, you get C formula. And the thing about women is they don't operate like that. They exist in this space that's an amalgamation of ideas, feelings, and beings. And as soon as you can understand that, then you can navigate it effectively. It may not sound like it's ideal. You may not like that it's like that, but this is how women are. And the sooner you understand that concept, you won't look for a rigid path to getting women to the state that you want them to be. So like when they talked about security earlier, my sister is giving, she said security isn't just money, right? A lot of men, I'm sure, shrugged and said, hell no, we know what security is, it's just money. But when I was talking about it earlier, that's why I said the importance of telling somebody the truth to give them a choice to stay or leave. That's a form of security, because emotionally they feel protected by having the autonomy to stay or leave within that situation. They also feel secure because they could trust your words. Like, trust is probably the most important cornerstone of a successful relationship. And you would be surprised. Like an old head told me before, he was like, you don't have to lie to women. If they like you enough, they'll lie to themselves. So you don't have to lie about nothing. She just has to like you.
Yeah.
And that does not require you to be 6'5", 6'6", and have $1 million in the bank. It's so many intangibles. And instead of being upset about women operating like that, a lot of men should be extremely happy that they operate like that. Because if they were as cut and dry as they claim to be on the internet with 666, 95% of men will not qualify.
So
It's not a flaw, it's the feature. Most of the time, the men that I see have problems with women refuse to understand some basic key things about women and want to equate us and operate the same way. As long as you have that mindset where I'm going to judge them based on the way I view things as a man and hold them to that same standard, you will repeatedly fail. I promise you will repeatedly fail.
Marcus, no group of people understand that more than men. That is almost, if you go into any of these spaces, the first thing men say is that the masculinity and protection ain't only about finances. You hear that almost 90% of the time when men are talking. No group understands that concept more than men. See, when y'all talk, y'all largely ignore the data. Dating apps says different. When women are polled, it says different. When you look on dating apps and only and a majority of the men are being overlooked, that ain't got shit to do with whether the man can provide protection or love or protection of our heart or any of that. The only thing they're going off of is how that nigga look and what his profile says. And they swiping right or swiping left. We talk about when women were asked, they actually polled women and asked them if a man was 80% of what you needed, would you deal with that? And most of them said no. When they asked men the same question, every last one of them, most of them was like, yeah, I could deal with that. I could sit on that. I could settle for that. So we largely ignore how women behave in real time, in real life. And that's what all these men are basing it off of. They're not basing it off of their feelings. They're basing it literally off of how women are behaving.